Morning. Hi Diane. Hi June. Morning Valerie. Okay, so I think we'll make a start because busy day today and quite a lot to show you. Hi Trish. So memory box, as you can see by the pile of dies on my desk. This is the one day special that's launching at 6 o'clock this evening on Hochanda. And the shows are at 6 and 8 today, and then just 8 and 12 tomorrow. There is no 4 p.m. live hour tomorrow, but I imagine that still the one day special, if it's still in stock, will run until 6 as usual. It's just there's just not a live show at 4, which is good for me because it means I get to come home earlier. So that's absolutely fine. Hi Heather. So I thought I'd very, very quickly just run you through all the dies that are on the show because there's a heck of a lot on there. And as you know, Memory Box is an American company. So not only is the one day special time dependent because it only runs for 24 hours, but of course, once tomorrow is over and done with, the items will disappear off of the website. So you won't even be able to get them at the full price. Because obviously they're being packed and sent from the States. So as with any American company and with a lot of the European companies, stock doesn't hang around too long. So you do need to, if there's something you like, you do need to grab it when you see it. Morning, Jean. So as far as I understand it, and I might be wrong, hopefully not, the one day special is the kind of crystal collection, as they're calling it. So we've got the crystal frames and they cut out like this. So there's 2 frames in this set, and Memory Box are amazing with the fine lines that they give you with the dies. It's just tremendous, the detail that you get. But there's some really cool things that you can do with this. Obviously a bit of pattern building, and we'll look at that in the moment. So that's one of them. And they all come in this envelope, and you can see that the sizes are always printed on the back, so you know what you're getting. There's always a QR code as well, so if you scan that, then if there's any samples available on the Memory Box website, you'll go straight to that for a bit of inspiration, so that gets you going straight away. And there should be some samples from the design team at the studio waiting for me, hopefully. So that's that. These dies are pretty new. They were launched last month, I think, just before we did the Easter show. So they are pretty new. So that's your crystal frames. Then you've got your crystal border, which looks like that. So this is obviously going to be great for your kind of paper piecing, as you'll see from the sample that I posted earlier on this morning. And then finally you've got the crystal corner, which cuts out like that, and again you can do a lot of kind of they're like mosaic glass, aren't they? So you can do a lot of paper piecing with those, which is a little bit time consuming. It did take me quite a long time to do the card that I posted today. Excuse me. But it's very relaxing as well. So that's, as far as I understand it, that's your one day special. Now I need to put these down so I'm not going to lose them somewhere. Let me just put them in a pile. Otherwise I'll be spending the rest of my day just before I go out tidying up. Right, so then we've got the circle collage. And this one cuts into your card. Let's move that pile over a little bit. Crash, bang. I've got so many. I'm prepping for 3 shows at the moment, which is a little bit, well, anyway. So this one cuts into your card, and it is a bit like, you know, the string art that we used to do. Hence, it's called string art. You know, when you put your nails in and you thread your lovely glittery thread around it to create a pattern. But that's really, really, really lovely. And this one works really well with the crystal frames and all the other crystal bits and pieces. So I really like that one. Then we've got this one. Let's move that out of the way. What am I doing with this? Piles everywhere. That one. Right. Then we've got this one, which is your heart streamer globe. And there's a separate little die that cuts out 5 little hearts, as you can see there. But that will work. It has got like a deboss there, because I think it's meant to make like a dimensional globe, but I haven't done that. But that will go really well with your nested globes. Now, all the nested dies that you get from Memory Box do actually come on a magnetic sheet. And there's a red line of tape holding them all together so that they don't float around in the packaging. Do remove that red line of tape. Don't leave it on there. Just a little tip. Okay, so that's your globes. Then we've got one of my favourite kind of dies from Memory Box. These kind of pinpoint dies. So when you cut these, I don't know if you can see my hand through that, it cuts all of these pinpoints in there. And they are, you know, you can see through them. They're just tremendous, and they sound great as well when you use your mirror card. They look fabulous on mirror card, actually. And obviously, if you wanted to, you could get a very fine beading needle and thread through there if you wanted to. So I really like those. So there's another one of those on the show tomorrow. Sentiment. Thank you, Swirly Script Sentiment. Obviously, you can cut the little swirls off if you don't want them on there. Can't really say a lot more about that. I think this one's been on before when Leonie's done a show, your bubble circles. So you've got 3 individual circles here, which you can obviously offset, use singly, use to surround your crystal frames as well. So that's a really useful one. I like that one. Then we've got some florals. So we've got your pretty blossom stem, which is really pretty. So obviously you could cut this. So you cut your your main one out of green, and then cut it again out of a colour, and then snip away the flowers and pop the flowers on top. There is this other die as well, this one, which has separate little flowers in it, which is your wreath. So you could layer these on top of those if you wanted to. So those are they. We've also got another floral here. Let's move that one out of the way. Pick them up, Julia. We've also got this one, which is your Magnolia double arch. Obviously, one going one way, one going the other to surround things. Again, you could pop the little flowers from the previous one on to stack it up if you wanted to. Then we've also got a freesia. So this is your dreamy freesia. I haven't actually used that one yet, but probably will at some point. Then we've got this one. I mean, obviously we're dealing with the after effects of COVID, and we're still in lockdown currently. So obviously the rainbow has been very significant this year. So as you can see, this cuts into the card again, but you've got all of these arches that are fall away pieces, so you can obviously colour those in the colours of the rainbow if you want to, or paper piece different colour card back in again by multi-cutting. So there's that one. Then on a similar theme but a different shape is your linear triangle, but this one actually cuts out, so that cream version is actually cut out of the card. So you can actually put them together to make a square if you wanted to, if you cut 2. That's a really cool one, actually. Another sentiment to go with the thank you, really. You've got a flourish birthday. Birthdays, sentiments are always very, very popular. And then we've still got another floral here. which is very, very pretty. Great for laying onto your double-sided sheet and making yourself a background and then framing it. I really like that one. Then we've got some of the slimline dies from Memory Box, and this size card, which is half. It's half your A4 but folded lengthways and then a little bit cut off the side. So measuring them, the largest one is 8 5/8 in length. So, but they're very, very popular and they're great. Obviously, the different orientation, you can have them this way if you want to. This is just a plain one, but this has got lots and lots of dies in it. I don't know if it says how many. 13 dies in it, so lots of dies. Great for your frames if you kind of miss one out or miss two out, and you could put a smaller frame on top if you want to, or just for your labels and things. Really useful die set. So there's that one, the plain one. Then we've also got this one, which I really like, the wrapped stitched rectangle. So there's just 5 dies in this one, and I don't know if you can see, but there are kind of wonky stitching going on, almost as if it's slipped, but obviously it hasn't. And these will make you, if you cut 2 dies together, you're going to get a wider frame than with the plain ones, but obviously you could kind of mix and match if you wanted to. Really, really, really like that one. Again, it's your tall slimline card. Yeah. And then we've got your seed stems. These are a bit like dandelions, but kind of think outside the box a little bit, because you could what was that not scrolling? Yeah. You could just chop that off and use these as your stamens for the centres of your flowers, which will look really cool. I really like those. Then you've also got your cosmos, layered cosmos. This is on the card that Hochanda used for promoting the show, and I shared that to my page today. So 2 different sizes of your 4 petal flowers, and you've got your little centre bit as well. That's a really useful. You can never have too many flowers. And then for your foliage, you've got this one here, which is your wildflower stem. So obviously it's got a flower on it, but you've got your leaves here, and they're useful for using with any of your flowers anyway. So I really like that one too. This one's quite cool if you kind of multi-cut it, and then you can use the waste as a stencil. So that's a really useful one. Then finally, really on the die front, we've got this one, your slim diagonal collage. And this one, if you cut this 3 times, then you can use your slimline frames around it to create a background. So that's that one. Then we've got a couple of stamp sets. We've got this one here, which has got lots and lots of great verses in it. Some of the smaller ones will fit into the centre of your crystal frames and also into the string art circle. Excuse me. Talking too much. So there's that one. That doesn't have a die set to go with it. It doesn't need one really. Then we've got this one here. This is your big and little reverse words. What was that one called? This one was called Joyful Moments. And these, as you can see, these are solid words, but they also come with a die, and that will fit round all of the words except for the U, because the U is a bit smaller. And then cut out, so you've got your negative words that you can cut out of here. So that's quite a useful one. Then returning, we've got your Crystal Lingo, which I had on in a show earlier this year. I think it was January time, when it was brand new. And it comes with dies, and obviously if you stamp the big words, then the dies are going to cut them out for you, and also the heart. And then so you could have things like, hello, I miss your face, because I think of you often, because you are special to me, happy birthday to you, loving that I can count on you. and then you've got this lovely big stamp here, which is really cool. Again, this is kind of on the theme of the crystal frames and the crystal corner and the crystal border, so that's why this has been brought back to this show. Now, if you buy anything on the show, obviously most of you will know there's some. Oh no, I haven't finished yet, have I? We'll go to pretend I didn't say that. We've also got some paper pads on the show. We've got these two spring plaids, so we've got 6x6s, and these are foiled on one side and a different pattern unfoiled on the other side. You've got 2 sheets of each design, 24 sheets. And then you've got the same thing, but you've got it in the slim version. So this is going to work with your slimline dies. Again, same patterns, 2 sheets of each, foiled on one side, plain on the other. But obviously don't think that, you know, if you don't like the slimline dies, that you can't use these. You absolutely can, because you can use it for die cutting or for smaller cards and backgrounds. We've also got a glitter card pack on the show as well. This is again 6x6, and you can see I've been using it. Lovely glitter colours, and it does cut really well with the dies as well. We're going to be using that in the demo today. Then, as I was trying to say earlier, we've got loads of things on end of core. We've got some of these. I haven't pulled them all out, but there's loads of colours of these. These are in like ombre packs, as you can see, four each of 12 shades, 48 sheets in 6x6, and they're all on end of core. So you've got all your different kind of shades of blues. There's pinks, purples, yellows and oranges. There's like an earthy tone one. There's just loads. There's 2 different blues, actually, 2 different blue packs. So have a look at those, because they're a great way of boosting. They've also got a white core to them that are not a solid core. So that means if you want to actually do any embossing, then you can knock it back and reveal the white core. So that's a really useful thing to do. Also on the end of core is this beauty here. And it's a 3D embossing folder, and it's super thick. It's really chunky, so I had a little bit of trouble working out how to use it through my Gemini machine, because obviously I'm not using a hand cranking one because it hurts my shoulder. So in a Gemini machine, you for this and do, like I say, this is an end of core, and it's a 4.5 by 5 3/4 3D embossing folder, and it's just beautiful. Look at it embossed. This is on craft colour core card. Look at it, it's so stunning. Yes, so on the Gemini you need one of your cutting plates, then you need the folder, and I put 2 sheets of cardstock on top. Now I haven't used particularly thick cardstock, and I thought I'd only got 1 sheet, so you might need to only use 1 sheet or 2 sheets, and that's all you need. You don't need another plate at all. So it's just the cutting plate, the folder with the card in it, and 1 or 2 pieces of card on top. That's all. Okay. Just don't use the standard sandwiches that Crafters and Companion recommend, because you'll probably break a plate. But it's just beautiful, isn't it? Even the deboss side, look at it. It's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. I love that. Don't miss out on that at end of core. Now, before we actually do the demo, I just wanted to mention to you about these. Now, Lou Sims did a one-day special just recently with the Sakura. She does a lot of Sakura work, and I was lucky enough to get one of the little Leonis, so I did this while I was watching her. But you can use your memory box dies in here with your Moonlight as well. Just thinking something out of the box, doing something slightly different with them. It is a work in progress, because I haven't put any kind of wording or sentiments in the centre here. But this is the smaller of the crystal frames, just with the Moonlight pens through it. And then you've got the crystal corner here, the crystal border, and that's that circular string art one. I haven't used all of it, and I didn't go round the outside edge, and I've actually coloured them in rather than just colouring around the outsides. So it's a great different way of using your dies, and obviously some dies will work better than others. Obviously we could doodle inside of these if we wanted to, or colour them in, or just leave them as they are. It is a work in progress, so that's just another idea of how you can use these dies. Really, really cool. So that's they. So before we actually get into the demo proper, there's a lot of things I'm doing before I'm getting into the demo proper. And you'll probably see me doing this on air, because what I've done is I've taken some of the paper pads, and I've cut six different colours, and I thought we'd do a little bit of pattern building and just lay the dies on here and see what we can get out of them. So obviously we've got the borders here, so this could be easier said than done. Let's use my tweezers. So we could actually do a back-to-back border like that, and then I've got another border. See if I can pattern build any further, because this will point that way, maybe. So we've got quite a big gap there. There's another border. These paper pads are really good. I would really urge you, if you buy anything at all, doesn't got to be the one day special, anything at all at checkout, you kind of add these in. I must have a blue one somewhere. I might sort these out before I go to it. So here, so we could do, you could just do a little card just with two of them. So if we pull that out, pull that out, pull that out. So we could just have a little card with two of them and pop a sentiment down the middle. That makes sense. Yeah, or you could obviously have a top and bottom, which we will do something similar to this. So we could have a top and bottom, and if you bring in the big one, this is the big crystal frame. Big crystal frame, you can actually change the look of it by popping two on top of one another like that. Okay, and then you can bring in the smaller one. Let's have a different colour. Took me ages to do this. Bring in a smaller one like that. That looks fine as it is, but what would happen if we brought in another small one and put that at an angle, because you can actually do that too. So that there has changed the look of that completely. Yeah, just by building that up. And then we could, if we didn't want to use the borders, we could bring in the corners. So we can pop a corner around here and a corner around here. Now the corners won't actually, I suppose they will really. But if you want to put them together, they're going to make a massive card, aren't they? So what you could do is actually start snipping into it if you wanted to, or even overlap them. I don't really like that, and take that out. So that's that. With these, we can of course make a focal piece. Let's see if we can get this right. Like that. And that's not going to go. These are different, aren't they? So these aren't going to go quite as I wanted them to, because they're not symmetrical. But hey ho, we can still cut it down. It's going off the page a bit. That makes a nice focal point, doesn't it? It is. It's exactly, June. It's just like the string art. The previous thing I did. Yes, absolutely. I think that's what it's meant to be. Obviously, this is more like mosaic or crazy paving kind of stuff. And just go back to the smaller one, because the smaller one, they haven't got, at least they haven't got curly cues on them, so at least they don't kind of all kind of merge with each other. So with these, if you wanted to kind of do point to point, it doesn't quite work because it's a little bit too big. But let's just grab there's a third one. Can you see there's not a big enough gap there? So where's my other one? Oh, I've got plenty. Here's another one. So that's not going to fit. But what you can do is pull them apart just a little bit so that the angle isn't perfect. Probably won't get this 100%, but hopefully you'll get the idea. So we're pulling it apart so that they're kind of pointing to each other but not quite touching. And then you could, if you wanted to, you could you know, in your journals and you know, on your background papers. I mean, we can. It's easy, very easy with these to paper piece these bits back in again because they're you know, there's not many of them. There's only 6 of them. If you're paper piecing these back in, the borders and the corners, I would suggest you actually kind of have this on your adhesive sheet, cut one, pop some pieces in, pop the others in a bag, and then cut another one and pop the pieces in. That's how I did it, because it takes quite a while to sort them out. So we could go back in here. I've only got 6, so I can't do the whole thing. So we could go back in here, and you could at this point pop one in like that. And then we could, where's the other one? I've got another one somewhere. Where's my 6th? What colour am I missing? I'm missing the purple one. There it is. So this is a bit like, you know, it's pattern building with dies. You see where we're getting with that? It's really cool. It's really, really cool. You can actually, yeah, you could untangle them. You can do whatever you want to. Really, really cool. So obviously I've only just started really playing with these as far as pattern building is concerned. So I haven't actually got anything stuck down because I'm just kind of thinking about it. So I'm going to put these to one side and probably do exactly the same thing when I launch later on. And if you guys have seen it, you can go off and be buying while I'm doing that. There may be different patterns I come up with then. So I need to put that somewhere safe now where I'm not going to lose it. Right. Okay, let's get on and make something. So, kind of working on a bit on what we had before. It's always difficult to know what to show you first, really. Hopefully I've given you some ideas already though. So I'm using the glitter card here, and we've got a couple of borders in the green, and we've got the couple of frames in the green, and we've got that lovely string art as well. And I've got a frame cut with Sentimentally Yours Double Deboss Essential squares, which is very difficult to get hold of at the moment. So all we're going to do is, and I've just trimmed this down, this isn't quite the full size. All we're going to do is my inside of my square, I'm going to just stick that to there, so I've got a white background. And I did start, because I quite often use the Elizabeth Craft Designs double-sided adhesive with fine dies. But you do end up sometimes picking out so much that it's just sometimes quicker to actually glue. So I abandoned that and decided to just use glue on everything. So I'm using the Sentimentally Yours glue. I'm just putting it on the cross sections of the points. And this is the one that I drew through with my Moonlight pens, or one of them. And a bit around the outside here. I think it's about a square about that big, isn't it? We'll say it is. Right. So I'm just going to pop that on here, so we've got something that our string art is backed onto, because I want to stamp a sentiment into the gap. Hopefully that's stuck. Glitter card's quite hard to stick down. Well, it should be all right on that side. All right, okay, that's fine. Right, it's just so I get a good impression and I don't mess it up straight away. Let's go for our stamping platform. That's out of the way for now. Over there. Right. Pop this in here, and we're going to use one of the stamps from the Joyful Moments that fits in the centre nicely. Actually, have I done that in the centre? I think that's where I want it, because I don't think I cut it exactly in the centre. This is going to be one of my mats as well, so the frame's going to sit in the middle of it. Not in the middle of it, in that bit. What do I do with the stamps? There they are. What did I do with them there? Okay, so that's a bit big. I like that one. So very happy for you. That one fits. You've got thank you. That fits nicely in there. If you wanted to say wishing you happy days, you could just mask that off there. Missing your smile. Oh, yeah, missing so many people at the moment. Let's have thank you, because that's quite generic, isn't it? And we'll pop that. Just about fits. Doesn't have to be 100% straight. And what have I done with my archival? I'm going to use jet black archival. They are acrylic stamps, not photopolymer, so I find that archival works really well. There we go. Perfect. Right, now we're going to pop that. I might as well do my matte layering now. Yeah. Matte layering. What am I going to stick it with? Glue? Yes. Very simple card, this. The dies do all the work, so when the dies do all the work, you just have all the fun, really. And you can you know, make it complicated or make it simple. The thing is that if you can just make a quick card, you know, really easily. If you need to say thank you quickly to put somebody, you've got one made. So this is going on here, and it really pops once it's on the black. And we'll pop this onto a bit of foam tape. I'll go for 2mm. Yeah, there's a really good range of colours in them, and like I say, with the ombre packs that there are end of call, then you've got a huge selection of colours in those. Obviously, I don't know what the prices are on anything. I don't need to know that, really. So I expect I'll find out when I get there. But obviously, when you're talking about imports from the States as well, you have to remember that if you're buying direct, then you get hit with, well, you might get shipping charges. You get hit with VAT a lot of the time when it comes into the country, and sometimes you get hit with a Royal Mail handling fee as well, which is normally £8 plus. So it can be really pricey, but of course if you get it from Hochanda, then all that's taken care of, because they do all that. You just have to wait for it to come. You'd have to wait for it to come anyway, even if you bought it direct. I've got two different rolls of tape here, and one's got decent back on it, and the other one's got one of them kind of stick to you all the time backs, which is really annoying. Right, let's pop this onto another piece of white card. So we've got it's about a 7x7, I think, when we finished. So that's that like that. But we're going to put a frame on it. So we're going to put our frame here like that. That frames it beautifully. So we're going to put, again, we're going to go for the 2mm tape on this. Do I want to go for 2mm tape? Actually, I don't think I do. Changed my mind. Quick, fetch it off. Did I want to put this on flat? I've forgotten what I was doing actually. I think I might wanted to go and put this on flat. So hopefully I can get this off. Yeah, it's not 100% stuck yet. Yeah, because I think what I wanted to do is put that on flattish, because I think my frame, yeah, my frame, this is going to go over. Whew. Remembered. Let's hope my brain's more in gear later. That'd be really good, wouldn't it? Put that on there a minute. Right, let's glue this in place. Now this is going on to glitter cards, so it might not take straight away, which is okay. Gives me a chance to move it around and get it straight. Oh, sorry, knocked it. It's very hard putting things on around a camera. It's going to bug me if it's not straight. We go with that. Stick. Oh, I did see something about the Suez Canal. I didn't really understand it because I don't have time to read things properly at the moment. Right, so obviously if we, normally what I'd do is I'd stick it underneath my mat thing, and that would stick it nice and straight. But because we're going flat, I can always stick it underneath there in a minute. Right, so let's get these borders on here first. So I want to put a border at the bottom and a border at the top, and you can see that this frame I've cut out of these double debossed is going to be absolutely perfect. It's a perfect width for this. Let's get the glue on both of these at the same time. There won't be a sticking issue with this. Obviously I could have used red liner tape on there as well. That might have been a good idea. Hindsight, at least I actually pulled the foam tape off so it's nice and flat. Again, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go on the joints because there's slightly more space for me to get the glue. This will dry clear and matte anyway. There's going to be a lot of gluing, I think, over the next day. Well, I know there is. A little bit on the outside. Right. Let's pick that up now actually, and what you can do is get a piece of kitchen roll, do that one, because they're so fine, if you just dub it off onto the kitchen roll first, don't leave it very long, then you can get rid of the excess, and then you can pop that down on here like that. And then we go for the other one. Just in the points. I think I'm launching with Janice tonight, I think. So that's going to be fun, isn't it? I don't know whether she'll wind me up. And then I've got Adam at 8. Right, again, dab that off. Get rid of the excess. And then slide that into the top of my frame. Oop. These pointy tweezers are absolutely brilliant. These are Sentimentally Yours. Okay, so there's my top and bottom frame. add a bit of green, but obviously the green there looks a little bit much. So what we're going to do is we're going to add, we could add it this way actually. Let's add it that way. So we can pop that, we're going to pop that one there, and then we're going to pop, see, we could put that one there like that, but I quite like swapping them over so that they kind of swap like that. So we're going to do that. So these are the, so this is your crystal border and this is your crystal frame. So two of these die sets are in the 1 day special, and then you've got the string art, which is, as far as I know, not. But obviously you can see that they work really well together. You could, of course, cut the frames out of another different colour glitter card and paper piece those bits in, because like I say, the crystal frames are really easy to paper piece in, because there's not that many pieces. There's only 6 pieces to paper piece. And don't throw away the bits from the middle, because the bits in the middle you can cut other things out of. You can really make the most of your card. I can't remember where I put glue and where I haven't. Oh dear. Let's dab that off again. I don't know if that's a proper word, dab it off. Hopefully it's not a swear, as Leonie would put it. Right. Let's see. See if I can get that in the middle. Equally spaced-ish. Straight-ish. Everything's an ish. And I'm going on to glitter card here, which is going to be harder to stick onto again. I think that's ish. Obviously these bits will stick, whereas these bits will be a bit of a challenge. And then we do our little frame as well. Come on. Do be careful if you're using mirror card with these dies, because they're so fine. If you're using glue, obviously it's harder to get. You can get the glue off the mirror card if it seeps, but it's a little bit harder. Use one of the adhesive erasers and then buff it up with a dry wet wipe. Doesn't always come absolutely perfect, but you know, it does get better. Right, so let's dab this off. And we have this one. See, that's not stuck yet. That way. So it's going to point to that point and point to that point. And there we go. There's our little card. Very much string art kind of thing. So that's all I wanted to show you. So I've shown you all the dies, all the stamps, I've shown you a few ideas, I've shown you the decor, I've shown you some pattern building. So hopefully you kind of got a few ideas of how to use the dies. I haven't made many samples and I've already posted some of them, so I'm not going to go through those. They'll be on the set tonight. So do tune in at 6 o'clock tonight and 8 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock and 12 noon tomorrow. And you know, if you can share that, if you're in the Crafting with Hochanda group, share this video into there, because I might not get a chance to do so. I will try and get it onto YouTube while I'm having my lunch later. But thank you everybody for spending an hour, well, 3/4 an hour with me, and I will see you at 6 o'clock. Thank you. Bye.